it's the most pivotal at bat in the game tonight. You know, we'd set the table again, and I think we had a runner in scoring position in 3 of the first 4 innings or 4 of the first 5, you know, didn't get a hit, and you know, it was good to got a good at bat by Jake there, a 2-strike walk, and then Josh Pearson pinch hit single, and then he did a good job. Took a good swing on the first pitch, laid off a bad one, and then got a mistake and hit it. And he's a good hitter, you know, as we know, and huge at bat tonight.
When did you know you wanted to put him in the game?
I actually contemplated it the time before, but they had Heidelberger, and if I'm messing up his name, I don't mean to do that. They had Heidelberger up in the pen, so I held off the first time that we were going to actually go to him. And then just looking at once we got him out of the game and they didn't have another lefty up down there that had significant time, you know, or maybe a real dangerous out pitch that they could make a quick move on. I was trying to hold Josh and Ashton for that time and at the back of the order, and it worked out.
You talked about on Tuesday with the pitching staff, you felt like you were pretty good at making some of those moves. When you push the buttons like you did tonight, I mean, when you see those guys coming through, is that just...
Well, I mean, we got 2 of the best relievers in the country. Like, I mean, Case and Zach, it's... I wouldn't trade them for anybody. There's a big-time nature. I could go through a million reasons why. The first one I'll just say is character and makeup. You've heard me say this for years. The guy that pitches on Friday and the guys that pitch at the end of the game, they have to have something special inside of them. Those guys have that. You know, on the pitching side of it, I'm not going to get into what makes them successful, but they're real dudes, and we're really lucky to have them.
That inning where you guys get the 3 runs in the 6th, and Casey gets the big bunch out against LeBron, Casey even mentioned he just felt like that was the momentum.
No doubt, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if he gets a base hit right there, we're probably taking him out of the game, to be honest with you, at 7-4, you know, to preserve him for the rest of the weekend. So it's a huge strikeout. And obviously with Snell on deck, who had a great night tonight. So that was huge.
How tough was it to sort of navigate the strike zone tonight for you guys at the plate and even on the mound?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't. Was it bad or good or like I don't. I can't. I always tell the umpire I have a great look from the side, but I don't. So I don't know. Like, I mean, there's a lot of strikeouts for 2 really good hitting teams. I will say that. Yeah, it wasn't a great start offensively. I don't know how much that impacted it or not. I'll watch the game obviously, but can't comment. Darren's one of the best guys in the league. I like when he shows up.
Seems like early in the game, really all throughout, you guys are hitting the ball hard and just sort of going at defenders. Do you feel like when the offense is just making really good contact, whether they're getting on base or not, like does that sort of bleed into what ultimately happens?
I think it can if you just stay positive about what's going on. It's really hard with hitting. It's one of the things you can do exactly how you should do and not get rewarded for it in sports. There's not many things in sports like that. That was kind of the message going into the weekend, like being positive and opportunistic about this opportunity this weekend. And, you know, I know high-level performers feel good about their chances to be successful. And this team has worked their tail off, been very consistent, had a tough weekend, but we can choose how we think about what's next. And this week's been awesome. Like, you know, not just the, you know, 2 good wins against RPI 11 and RPI 26, but like how they're doing what they're doing. Like Monday's practice, which we don't normally practice on Monday after a road series, was great. You know, and then I got them here at 1 o'clock on Tuesday before 6:30. Like 1 o'clock we were practicing, and then had a BP, and that was great. And then the performance in the game was great. And then yesterday, like recommitting to it. So we're taking Sunday off, just so everybody knows. So I got the one NCAA mandated day off. But and then how they prepared for the game tonight and how they stayed in the game tonight. And how everybody was ready to go when called upon. Jacob, big strikeout with the guy on base, you know, to get us back in the dugout. Jake Brown, like that's a huge at bat that everybody will forget is that 2-strike walk right there. And then Josh set the table. Awesome for Ashton. And then, we don't get the guys in the, was it the seventh, with the first crack. Great at bat by Danny, and then he popped up. And then Steven picks him up. And that was a great swing, by him. And then great job by Coach Jordan sending Jake Brown right there. Close play. Great job reviewing the play. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. And then, Ethan Fry is a big-time story tonight. He's a big-time story tonight. He had probably his 2 worst at-bats of the year, the first 2 ABs. And in the third at-bat, he just took a complete shift competitively. Got down 2 strikes, drew a walk, singled, homer to right, and obviously we saw how the ninth played out. It's 2 runs and then the safety squeeze. Those are really important.
With Ethan, what'd you like about him, putting him in that 2 hole for tonight?
Yeah, I felt like I wanted to make sure we weren't missing something with how we'd been aligning it with him and Jared, and I just felt highly compelled to do that tonight with rolling him in front of him, and maybe he could benefit from that. And then you're starting a game with Ichiro, who was unbelievable tonight again. And he texted me last night at 11 o'clock and told me he was going to be unbelievable tonight. So that's him. And then you got Ethan Fry standing up there, So I think that's a great way to start the game. And then Jared, and then Danny's. The reason I like Danny and Steven where they are is they take at bats the same, whether there's runners on base or not. And that's a really important quality of hitting.
You talked about Derek just for a little bit there, and you talked about this before, but kind of noticed he was on the step when he was in the hole, and he's talking with you about different things. It kind of looks like a kid in a candy shop.
Oh, it's just amazing. He's so advanced mentally, and skill-wise, baseball-wise. There's bigger, faster, stronger athletes. There's not many guys that are better baseball players than him, and feel for how to play, how to win, what his team needs, what a catch in center field there at the end. And he's had maybe he played 1 game in center, and maybe a few. He got in the 8th inning the other night, and I think that was the first time since February 21st that he'd played center field. And he goes up, catches the ball against the fence, no big deal, and everybody's ready to high five. So he's just a baseball player.
Did you see the backflip after the game?
I didn't see that. I probably wouldn't approve of that. So.
You've kind of alluded to it a couple different times, but how does this win kind of match up with the identity that the team has had for the majority of this year?
It was great. One of our sayings is there's no clock in baseball. We're down, had 0 momentum in the game. We set the table, didn't execute offensively. They get some homers off our guy, who's one of the best pitchers in all of college baseball, and at home, after a tough previous weekend. So I just think it says a lot about just staying with baseball. This is only about baseball and executing, and you have to have the mental toughness to be able to stay on task. When we talk about toughness, it's just your ability to focus on your job regardless of what's going on around you. A lot of coaches will talk about turning the scoreboard off and just play the game. I just like the competitiveness, and Jake Brown, Larson, Milam, Danny, Stanfield, Luis. How about Caden Beatty tonight? That was a great job, and he's caught really good for about a month. And just got ball players, tough guys that care about this, they care about the team, they care about winning, and they have pride in their performance. And so that's what I think was tonight.
How much
Three more for Coach.
I guess just as clarification or confirmation, both Kaysen and Zach could go for you guys.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, and that was obviously the decision. I never do that. I never make that move that I made ever because of what happened. I never do that, and that's why I didn't do it with Zach at Texas. And so we did it tonight, and I'm glad we won the game. And my man threw 4 pitches, and he'll be good to go. And I wasn't comfortable with much more than 35. To have Kaysen. Obviously he's one of the best pitchers in the country. So we got to do that right.
How much you talked about being in the bullpen was kind of like a fire drill today. Had to get hot and fast. And you seem pretty determined to get Cade to the 6th. Did that play any part in putting Jacob in?
Well, we weren't gonna put him in the 6th behind necessarily. But once we got it to 1 run with 9 outs to go, ballpark was live again. And, you know, the end of the game and winning close games is about who matches up better in the bullpen. And so I made a decision, like, with him, we can get 3 zeros or 9 outs when we only need 1 to push this thing into extras or 2 to win. And so once it got to the 7th, that was the decision maker. And then we thought, we liked how Jacob looked. So it's like, okay, he's got the first guy. There was a left-handed hitter up as the second hitter of the inning. And I liked Kaysen better. And I thought they would bunt. And he's a high school shortstop, so he can field his position. And I think when he's in the game, our team really believes we're going to win because we're going to match up better than whoever's on the other side.
With Cade Anderson, how do you sort of handle a situation where, you know, the guy has 10 strikeouts and 5 2/3 and looks like he's rolling, but, you know, there's just 4 or 5 pitches that are over the plate.
Yeah, I don't make too much of it, honestly. Ballpark was live tonight. As we know, it gets hotter. That happens. But it worked in our favor, too. We had 8 runs on 3 homers, you know, 1 hit to the opposite field. And so you just kind of got to stay in the fight with that. I thought he was dominant. Like, as he was rolling through, like, I mean, he gave up a homer in the 3rd, but I think he might have struck out the side that inning, or maybe struck out the side in the 2nd and went back out there, and it was like 11 pitches, 3 up, 3 down. I'm like, there's no way we're losing this game tonight because he's just going to keep them right there. Like, that's how I felt about it. And then Snell, holy cow, what a night that guy had, which is the impetus of bringing Zach in the game. You know, it's like, hey, man, we can't let them set the table. Hodo was actually the tying run on deck, you know, and I wanted to get the out right then and there and not even get to that situation. So, crazy game. And a lot to peel back from that one.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.